Let's kill some angels.
So much more than fun and games at the Cartoon Cabal. Beyond what's just in the name at the Cartoon Cabal. See just at what cost comes fame at the Cartoon Cabal. So much more than fun and games at the Cartoon Cabal.
Hey everyone, it's the Cartoon Cabal, where we're taking a look into the series Neon Genesis Evangelion. Today, it's the Beast. I have to say it that way. Looking at production things, they are referring to the Revelation 666 piece, so that is what we're getting at here. This is Matt here. Over there, it's Paranoid American. How it be?
Let's kill some angels.
Yeah, with the Beast. Okay, whose side are we on anyway? But I was talking to you right before you hit record that's not the Japanese title for this, which I had flashed on the screen in English. So maybe you just
I just wasn't paying attention, but yeah, the Beast.
Yeah, I like that title, of course, but I also like the Japanese title because it's so different. It's Unfamiliar Ceilings.
Feelings or ceilings?
Ceilings, as in up there, because Shinji keeps waking up in new places, like the hospital, like his new bedroom. So he's experienced and realizes, I think he says in the episode that like he realizes that every ceiling in the city is going to be unfamiliar to him. So
okay, they went abstract. We just got the end of times, Book of Revelations sort of feel.
Yeah, hey, that works both ways. I think. I think. Maybe that's more the Zen cone we got in the Japanese title, whereas we just get a great title with the Beast. So this one's quite different in that it's extremely non-linear, which was apparently the creator of the show didn't like the first episode because he thought it wasn't as good as the first episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, which one is probably wrong. And but yeah, he was like, okay, I'm just gonna rewrite the script and make it non-linear and crazy and stuff. So how'd that play out for you?
It wasn't horrible. I thought that I missed something at first, and I went back and rewatched it and realized that it was intentionally non-linear, and I didn't just space out halfway in, because it starts out and we see Shinji fighting his very first fight ever in this Eva, in this Unit 01, and then right when it gets good, it kind of flashes to him in a hospital bed. So eventually we go back and we see what happened in the whole fight. I don't know. I'm okay with that. I would have been okay with it being linear too. I've got a very simple palette when it comes to the storyline. Unless I know I'm walking into a Quentin Tarantino movie, then I kind of prefer to be led very carefully all the way to the water.
No, they wanted to get arty on you for this one. I do like. I was thinking about when that was happening. Those walking simulators that they have like on smartphones and stuff, where it's just supposed to make walking extremely difficult, right? Because you have to like control the muscles in the simulator or whatever. It doesn't look fun to me. It looks frustrating. I have not downloaded those on my devices. I've played a
couple versions of some of those, and the whole point of it is that it's frustrating, and that most people give up out of frustration before they can do the most simple of tasks.
But yeah, I do like the narrative. Shinichi gets out there and instantly screws up and gets his butt kicked, which it turns out that things are quite different. But that's what we see, and that's how he feels.
Well, he gets his butt kicked, but then the suit. You might actually have to explain some of this to me. So he gets into this big fight with an angel, and he gets his ass kicked by the angel, and it might be a demon and it might be a devil, because in the first episode they interchangeably used all three of those. So I'm just going to call him like a fallen angel. So he's fighting the fallen angel in his mech suit. Fallen angel beats him, and to the point where we even see this red liquid, I'm going to assume it's transmission fluid, squirting out of the head of this huge Unit 01 mech suit and like crush the arm, and Shinji's inside and he can feel his arm being crushed in a way, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is it, it's all over. And then the mech suit starts regenerating, and then it gets its own new eyeball, and then everyone says, oh my god, it's shifted into its true form. So now I'm like not fully understanding, are the mech suits like a chrysalis that surrounds an actual organic entity or something, that's what they're sending off to fight these fallen angels?
That's kind of the thing. Like, these aren't just Gundam mech suits, right? There's some kind of consciousness behind them that we don't seem to understand. So we're like harnessing. It's kind of like how some, like the Google guy talking about how we're getting into AI, and there's the old ones are somewhere back there. There's entities in the AI. That's kind of what we're getting at with the EVAs.
Okay, and they put up these things called AT fields, which stand for, in English at least, absolute terror fields. And from what I can understand, an absolute terror field is both a psychological and a physical block. It's like a big force field that you can put up and acts like this shield for almost anything. Except in this episode, we see that Shinji uses the Unit 001 to kind of like goatsy himself through the fallen angel's AT field and then beats him. And that's like this big thing, because now the Shinji's mech suit, the Unit 01, has now done at least 3 different things that no one has ever seen done before. One is that it immediately synced with Shinji before, because everyone else had to go through 8 months of training or something. 2, it regenerated somehow. And 3, it can goatsy through one of these AT fields.
I think the idea is it's kind of like the technology is harnessing a metaphysical tiger, right? So it's Thundercats or Cringer, right? He-Man's tiger. It's got all the battle armor and stuff on it. He-Man's in control, right? But if He-Man gets knocked out, Cringer might go into berserk mode, and that's what they actually say. Do they say berserk mode in this?
They do, yeah.
They do.
It's berserker.
So it's kind of like the Lovecraftian creatures they're trying to harness it, and it's coming through with Shinji for whatever reason.
Okay, I'm in for this, and really that's kind of where it ends off. There's the other part of this episode, aside from the nonlinear waking up in a hospital room and then revisiting and having flashbacks of the fight, but it's also him moving in with the secretary. I'm gonna say Ray, right? Ray, but she's like, the way that you mentioned it, she's sort of a secretary.
Oh, Ray's the other pilot. This is Misato,
Misato.
Yeah.
He kind of moves in with Misato, or is at least staying with her, and turns out that she's a messy, raging alcoholic, and all she can talk about is like telling him to make a move on her, but he's too bashful. So then she yells at him and says to be a man, and then leaves in frustration. And that seems like it's going to be a reoccurring sort of dynamic between these two.
Yeah, there is. We saw it in Ponyo too, kind of like alcoholism is a punchline in anime for whatever reason.
And I'm not talking about light alcoholism. He walks in and he says he's looking through her fridge and he's looking through her pantry, and he says she's got 500 gallons of beer. And the second that she gets home, she just starts slamming beers and immediately gets drunk. And I would almost say ranges on belligerent in some ways. Like, she turns into an angry drunk a little bit. So I'm actually a little bit excited to see how the drunk roommate dynamic plays out in this series.
I've seen it in Japan. I mean, after you've lived most of your adult life in Japan, it might just be a thing. But yeah, one coworker, very nice lady, when we have parties, she starts drinking and starts belligerently hitting on everyone, right? So,
Okay.
So it does happen. It's not unrealistic. I noticed Misato had made a pyramid, right? And I'm like, oh, it took like 5 of us college freshmen at spring break to manage the pyramid. I mean, that was just like 2 days. Hopefully that pyramid took her at least like a week.
I don't know. I got the impression that we were watching like maybe a 25-hour span.
Maybe, yeah. But also the reason he's there is basically because his father wants nothing to do with him, including talking to him, which is, as he's kind of the evil, not evil, he's the Cabal leader, right? He's completely fixated on, I mean, maybe he's evil too, but he's on the side of whatever. He's on the human side in our little story here.
Well, we saw in the first episode that he abandoned Shinji when Shinji was just a kid. And now that Shinji's meeting up with his dad again, the first thing was like, why now, father? Why now bring me back into your life after all these years? And he said, because I've got a use for you. So he's very utilitarian in a way. We're only going to see dad when dad needs Shinji. And if I can, again, I haven't seen this series, but I can just think ahead. if this were a traditional Western story, that would be one of the major story arcs, is that Shinji and Shinji's dad come together and bury the hatchet in some way. I kind of hope that doesn't happen. I kind of hope that there's just this nonstop Miyazaki style like tension between father and son that goes throughout the entire series. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning the AT fields, and just like spotting things that aren't necessarily religious or metaphysical. I was definitely thinking of the Dune shields. I don't remember what they're called, and it's something similar. It's something real whack in Dune. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Doom video game?
Dune, Dune.
Oh, Dune. No, I'm out of my league when we talk about Dune.
There's a very cool scene from the David Lynch version of the movie where they're in the newer ones too, and of course the book. But it's they fight when they do melee combat hand to hand. They have these fields, and in the 1984 Dune, it's like early CG, and it just makes them look like proto Minecraft things. But the whole thing is it's impenetrable to any normal blow, so you have to like stab people slowly to get through the field, and that's kind of what I felt like we were seeing here.
That seems kind of like a useless field if all you got to do is slow down a little bit to get through it.
Right. Well, the whole point is you can't just like come in with a sword and go swinging. You have to like really like plan your attack, I guess, which is sort of the Eva just kind of rips the field open, which is pretty cool. But
I just imagine that in the pitching room as they're throwing together the next Dune movie. They're like, look, instead of the high-paced action scenes where everyone's fighting in hyperspeed, let's just slow it all down, and you can just see him slowly crafting that sword in the air. It seems like it would make for bad cinema.
Well, watch the scene in Dune is all I can say. It's pretty cool in that. It is weird though. It maybe the effect takes you out of the movie a little bit, but it's such a strange movie that whatever, you can come out of that movie and it's fine. Also, don't watch David Lynch's Dune without reading the book first. That's one where you do have to read the book first, or it will be completely incoherent.
Yeah, sometimes the media is made for a smaller group of insiders, I think. One of the other things when we're watching this Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I'm going to try and just keep saying its entirety, is I can't shake that freaking VO director. I didn't watch the VO cut this version. I just watched the regular English dubbed version. But I can't get out of my head where he's like, oh yeah, all the symbols in this show, they just kind of threw them in there to make you feel like it was deeper than it actually is. Because I was picking out a bunch of stuff. Like, for example, when the Eva Unit 01 rebounds and jumps onto the fallen angel, and it initiates this self-destruction sequence, and you see this big, kind of like a nuclear blast, but when it zooms out, it shows that nuclear blast forms a glowing crucifix in the sky. And all I could think of is this a version of what that VO director was talking about, and that, okay, you see a crucifix, they're just doing that to make this feel deep. Or maybe he didn't know what the hell he was talking about. They didn't invite him to the meetings where they decided what all the symbolism meant.
Yeah, like I think he's right and wrong. Like, I do think they're intentionally just taking a lot of cultural things, religious symbolism, and putting it in. But I mean, come on, there's enough purpose. We have an angel fighting a beast, Revelations beast, which is we are quote unquote controlling. We're putting a crucifix in the sky. I mean, once you've included all those elements, they go together. It's not just throwing stuff at a wall.
And so Neon Genesis Evangelion, the Eva, that's the beast, right? We're talking about Unit 01 is the beast?
Yeah, that's so the interesting thing. And I haven't watched this series, by the way. So I'm on with you about knowing most of the things. I just picked up a little more that they're like, organic, somewhat organic or sentient or something. But yeah, like we are maybe harnessing evil to fight whatever's coming from the sky. Are they good? Are they bad? Don't expect coherency from this series, by the way. It is well known for being weirdly abstract, especially when we get to the end.
Speaking of, there's also a weird scene in here where Shinji is going, like, taking a shower, and there's just a penguin in the shower, and it walks out, and she's just like, oh yeah, that's my penguin. They're cool now. They like warm climates now. and there's no real explanation. It kind of reminds me of every Japanese fighting game I've ever played, like Samurai Showdown or something, where there's always a character that just has a random pet. And it's almost implied like, oh, what a kooky backstory those two must have. But now I do feel like I need to know, why is this chick living with a penguin?
Well, when I was in high school one summer, I went hanging out at the cool girl's house most days, and she had a pet pig for some reason.
I mean, yeah, I knew people with pet pigs and pet turtles and pet snakes and stuff, but a pet penguin.
A penguin is a step above. Also, that means that, especially considering her amount of drinking, that apartment must smell completely vile.
Does the penguin drink too?
Probably. Look like a drunk penguin, right? Yeah.
I wonder, is penguin poop as bad as just like a giant, like pigeon poop?
Well, you've been to the aquarium, haven't you?
I mean, yeah, but I think that, I don't know. They keep it tidy, at least in SeaWorld, at least the penguin exhibit. Everything else they let go to hell, but the penguin exhibit, they kind of keep spick and span. So I don't know. I know that I've seen them swimming underwater, but it's hard to tell when they're doing it underwater.
Okay, because the last aquarium I went to, it had an outdoor place for the penguins. You're walking along this path, and then under you on both sides are all the penguins. Some of it's water, some of it's rocks, and you get a nice big old whiff of whatever they're doing.
Nice, yeah.
I mean, it's a cool display. You're just like, yeah, penguin poo has a notable stench to it. So
they should do something with that. They should find some kind of chemical they can just like spray or feed to the penguins, just so that they don't smell so bad.
Sterile beer and penguin poop. That's what it is. There was when this came out, Anime News Network's Kyle Pope referred to Misato as, the purpose of the episode was to establish the character of Misato, which could be summed up in 2 words: alcoholic slut. Which, okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's 14, right?
Yeah,
that's the story.
Yeah.
So there's a little weird like imbalance in the relationship, because I would have to guess that she's probably 20, maybe like mid 20s, unless she's just developed a really horrible alcohol habit before she even became of age.
I mean, that is a weird thing. We are in the post-apocalypse in this TV show, but things look nice, which is, I mean, at the end, Tokyo 3 rises from the ground and it looks amazing, right? Like, everything looks like Japan. When he's sitting in the hospital lobby, it looks like a Japanese hospital lobby. When he's going down the street, it looks like a Japanese street. I'm curious how this looks to you, because when I saw like Dragon Ball before I ever moved to Japan, I was like, wow, the cities and anime are so creative. And then I came to Japan, I was like, oh, that's just what they look like here. So does the city look stylized, other than the sci-fi stuff, just the normal city stuff?
I mean, a little bit, but not. I mean, I guess I'm just used to so much Akira style cities that this one doesn't really stand out a whole lot. It just like silhouettes. Maybe has like a New York City kind of feel to it. Maybe slightly more high tech, because this does take place in the future in 15 or 2025?
The future 2015.
Yeah, the 2015. So,
but this kind of like the normal city stuff. I guess the idea is this city's in the mountains, and since it didn't get flooded, it hasn't been particularly screwed up until the angels show up.
Right, and this is Tokyo 3, I believe, right?
Yeah,
and there's a phrase in this episode where they say that Tokyo 3 is basically a fortress that was almost like it was designed to protect itself against these fallen angels. And I guess I don't understand that part yet. I don't understand what is so great about Tokyo 3 that it has some sort of natural barrier against these angels versus Tokyo 1 and 2.
Well, Tokyo 1 is underwater, right? We saw that in the beginning. So it seems they hastily moved, let's get into the mountains. That's where I am. Like Tokyo 2 is one mountain range from where I am. It's supposed to be a rebuilt Matsumoto. I don't think we see it, but I'm basically in Tokyo 2 here. Tokyo 3 is much closer to real Tokyo. New Year's, they have the Hakone Marathon, where I think they start in Tokyo and they run to this mountain lake, and that's Hakone. So that's where this is. So it seems they hastily moved to 2 and then spent 3 like, oh, we need to have like extremely high technology. They start talking about how much the budget is in this, like in the apocalypse. It's like They're still concerned about the budget, right?
Yeah, it's like Epcot a little bit.
Yeah. Although it seems Epcot's getting depressing now from what I hear. I don't know. You can get back to me on that.
I will, yeah. I think soon I'll be checking it out. Well, what's depressing about it? I have to hear.
Oh, just it's all IP now. All the 80s weird stuff is long gone for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of always been the thing. It's just that now you're getting older, so there's not as much nostalgia for you, but there's plenty of nostalgia for the new wave.
No, Guardian's supposed to be great. Hey, and you can still go drinking around the world. That's always a fun thing to do at Epcot, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah, black ant rimmed margaritas in Mexico, from what I hear. Haven't been there since 2009. I think it's been a while since I've been there. But
all right, well, you'll be there in spirit when I go.
There we go. Where were we? Oh yeah, what do you think about the jarring tone of this? Because I think we're going to get more of that. I think that really is an anime thing where it has this very serious battle and then this very lighthearted, almost like silly stuff in the apartment, although punctuated by things that are like real problems.
I mean, I'm biased, but I can't take any kaiju battle serious, even if it is like, people are dying and there's horrible tragedies. I'm just looking at, the Rampage arcade game, or I'm watching an old Godzilla movie. So it's really hard for me to suspend my belief, like my disbelief, when it comes to kaiju, because I just think Power Rangers immediately. So I can only take anything as serious as I could take a Power Rangers episode.
Have you watched the original Godzilla?
I have, absolutely.
Okay.
When I was a little kid, I saw it.
Yeah, because that one has a nice balance of being like a real movie, for one, and being a little darker and making Godzilla properly intimidating.
Kid, though, it was like it looked like a video where someone was playing with a big toy.
Maybe that's why I like, though, because I've seen all the newer monster movies and I generally like them. I mean, none of them are great movies, but I still prefer dude in rubber suit. It's like with Planet of the Apes, the newer movies, I guess they're fine, but I want dude in a monkey suit. I don't want the mocap. So I want the thing I'm not going to take seriously sometimes, I guess.
That's fair. I think we just have different sort of like, I like cheesy horror, but I like cheesy horror when it doesn't take itself too seriously, Freddy Krueger style, right? Like you can have the body horror and you can have the monster type horror, but it also kind of jokes and is self-referential about it. Otherwise, my kind of horror movie is a lot more subtle, not even body horror type stuff, but just like Room 1408 was one of my favorite ones when it came out that everyone hated. Everyone thought it was like the worst movie ever, or at least horror movie. And I really liked that style of a horror movie.
Here's something, I guess, with the kaiju here, though. They're really hard to picture in your mind. Godzilla, you can easily know what Godzilla looks like. Mothra, very easy. This one, before we started watching a show, I really didn't know exactly. I couldn't quite picture an Eva, right? I knew the colors purple and green were involved a lot. Now that I've seen 2 episodes, I have a vague memory of what Eva looks like, but it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around what these things look like.
I mean, for me, my brain just puts together what's missing. So it's to me, it's just a green and purple sharp Voltron, and that's it.
Okay. And then the angel, I'm thinking of like a melted egg with an eye. That's fine.
Honestly, the angel, they don't show much of it. The angel reminds me of when they show an adult in Charlie Brown or something. Like we usually just get a little chopped off version of the torso or just maybe a weird shot of the head. And the angels also tend to look, so far in the first 2 episodes, they tend to have darker color palettes and they're not like glowing, with like different lights coming out the same way that some of these Eva mech suits are. So I'm kind of hoping we get a much better vision of some of the fallen angels.
Did you have any bits of rabbit holing on this episode that you wanted to throw out?
Oh, the one quick one, and it's a forced tangent a little bit, but it's one of my favorite kind of weird topics, and that is when Shinji gets grabbed by this fallen angel and it crunches the arm of the mech suit, and he starts freaking out because I guess he feels that his arm's also hurting. They have to tell him through the comms, "Don't worry, you're fine. Your arm's fine. It's just the suit arm." But it reminds me that ghost limbs, again, like when you can feel like an arm that's no longer there, if you got like your arm severed, and some people have ghost pains where now your arm that doesn't even exist gets a cramp in it, or like a Charlie horse. What a weird concept that you can have a Charlie horse in a part of your body that doesn't even exist anymore. And that is one of the weird phenomenon that Rene Descartes used to try and isolate where he thought the soul lived and where he eventually found it in the pineal gland. One of those reasons was because of ghost limbs, and that if you were to chop off all four of somebody's extremities, right, their arms and their legs, then you could still have this weird feeling, and also that you would be just as conscious and have the same amount of soul in your body, even without any of your limbs. So like, and part of that proof was that these like the fact you could still feel an arm that wasn't there means that you didn't lose part of your soul. So if you were to chop everyone's arms and legs off, they don't lose any of their soul. So then he starts extrapolating that, like, what else could I chop off of someone? Chop off your nose, chop off your ears, like, and eventually at a certain point you'd get to where it's just like a brain being kept alive by heart or something, and that if you started taking little chunks of brain out, that someone can still fully be functional, still have the same amount of soul. So long story short, he finds the exact epicenter of the brain to where if you were to chop any part of this out, you're now as central as you possibly can be. And he deduced, therefore, that that's where the soul has to live. So anyway, ghost limbs, Rene Descartes, and the pineal gland being the seat of the soul all kind of connect. So anytime ghost limbs comes up, that's where my mind goes.
Of course, if you take the more Eastern thing, now you're looking at chakras, 7 or more, and he just happened to find one of them. In that case, you need the whole kind of Kundalini spinal thing to maintain a soul. And I know some people are like, oh, they keep going above your head. So, that system might go above and below where you are anyway, right? So that, like if I cut you in half, if I and Walk Hard, where he cuts his brother in half, you cannot maintain your soul because you need the base as well.
Yeah, Walk Hard. That's the Dewey version, right?
Yeah. I always want to throw in a Walk Hard reference when I can. One of my favorite movies. Anything else you wanted to get on for this episode? I found a couple quotes. I guess I'll read just to back up what the VO guy said, or to contrast, because the director of The Beast said in an interview that Christian graphic symbols were used for artistic reasons by the main staff because they are considered cool for the Japanese audience and to differentiate Neon Genesis Evangelion from other mecha anime. They wanted to make it more complicated. I guess he's kind of saying similar stuff. By director, I don't know if this is the same guy though, or a different guy.
Hey Japan, my cross is not your culture.
Well, there is a thing. I mean, I feel like I don't know how it is in the States now. Maybe it's different, but in the past, if you wear a band T-shirt, you like that band, right?
Name one song.
Name
one album.
Or if I'm wearing a Jaws T-shirt, that's because I really like the movie Jaws. Yeah, but in Japan, like, people will just go Uniqlo, buy a Jaws T-shirt, buy fashion T-shirts, and not know what the hell it is. I've seen kids wearing. About 10 years, I saw a bunch of kids wearing like Ramones shirts, and none of them knew who the Ramones were.
And do you see any like Jesus Save shirts, Westboro Baptist Church?
I haven't seen that, but that's my point. You will see some Christian stuff to be cool. Like someone will be wearing like a gold cross, but they're not Christian. I think Japan is like 2% Christian, so we're all heathens out here.
Name one miracle. You should stop someone on the street next time you see a cross and make them like just speak, just shout out one Bible verse.
Tell me a saying and what they did. Mm-hmm. Do a Hail Mary right now. It's Hail Mary. Yeah, okay. So I guess we'll wrap this one up for today. If you want to give people the up and up for what you're up to.
Yeah, just keep going back to paranoidamerican.com. That's the best place to find all the cool projects that I got going on. There's lots coming out this year still, I hope. DoesBigfootExist.com is a comic book about Bigfoot. There's also TitanicComic.com, SatanicPanicComic.com, and KubrickComic.com. And that's a new one that I just started working on. So be on the lookout for those.
Alrighty, over here, it's all podcasting at podcastias.org. It's also that on Patreon if you want early episodes and chitter chatter. We're in transition period at Time Enough Podcast. We're just finishing up the Twilight Zone, and before too long, we are going to do the Rod Serling scripted movies from the 50s and 60s. Podcast 1999 is finishing up Planet of the Apes TV show, live action. We are going to do the animated one in a few months. But first, we're going to cover the show Severance for the summer. A break from reality for the summer. That's what we're up to. Just like this guy, a break from reality with his mech. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta let the mech do it at once, right? Even if it might be evil.
The Beast.
American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies, all of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret societies, all of these and more on our sticker sheets.
Explore the unique with Paranoid American sticker sheets. Unearth tales of cryptids, cults, and mysteries through each sticker. These won't last long. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
All American stickers, cryptids, cults, and killers. We got all your favorite conspiracies, all of that and more on our sticker sheets. Paranoid American stickers, they'll make you smile and snicker. False flags and secret societies, all of these and more on our sticker sheets.
What the heck are you waiting for? Discover the extraordinary with Paranoid American sticker sheets. From cryptids in the night to cults out of sight, each sticker is a unique find. Get yours now at paranoidamerican.com.
Paranoid. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane paper, the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real to real. You will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hey, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, met is the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Man, it's not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when a beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still, you're welcome.